Good afternoon and welcome to our Food for Thought segment. Um, we're running a little late, but never late than never. We are here for Tuesday afternoon, January the 14th, for sports betting picks and analysis. So we're doing a preview of the NBA games, NHL games, and college basketball. Then I'll be back later on at about 5:30, between 5 and 5:30 p.m. Eastern time to give you my final picks for Tuesday. But we're just doing an overview and analysis and leans for the games today. All right. So we're going to start off with the National Basketball Association. We have the OKC Thunder versus the Philadelphia 76ers. The line opened up at 12 and a half. Total is 216 and a half. That's the opening number. Now we're looking at 13s across the board, and the total is 217 and a half. That's the total. All right, so let's look here. We'll look at the history, just the overall history between these two teams, matchup history between these two teams. So we're going to get into that now. And we're going to look at the last 10 meetings between these two teams, Washington and, sorry, OKC and Philadelphia, excuse me, OKC and Philadelphia. Head to head, 8-2, 8-2 OKC. I say 8-2 Philadelphia. They've dominated the series. Um, Against the spread, 4-6 against the spread. Philadelphia, 5-5 to the over under. This is their first meeting this season. OKC in their last 10 against other opposition, 9-1 to the last 10, 8-2 against the spread, 5-4-1 to the over. OKC's won 2 straight games. They were on a winning streak before of 6-7 games that ended by Cleveland. Then they picked back up where they left off, and they've won 2 straight. And actually, this is the last game of the road trip for Cleveland. I mean, for OKC. Last game of the road trip for OKC. So they've done pretty well on the road. Only lost 1 game at Cleveland, but they've done well on the road. As for Philadelphia, 5-5 last 10 against other opposition, 4-6 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Philly's lost 2 straight. My take on this is basically, I would lean to the props. There's a good prop here for this game that I like. That prop is Shea Alexander. I would lean that way over 5.5 assists. He's been pretty consistent. He's hit that 3 of the last 5 times. Very consistent, especially on the road trip. So that would be my lean. Shea Alexander 5.5 over 5.5 rebounds. Now the other prop I would look at as well. Another good prop here. Isaiah Hartenstein over 26.5 points and rebounds and assists. He's averaging 11 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 4.5 assists for 30 minutes per game. So he's gotten a heavy load of usage in the OKC offense. So I expect him to put up those numbers again against a Philadelphia 76er team that won't be able to defend the OKC. So I would lean that way. That's a strong prop. Those are the 2 strong props I have for that game. Sides and totals, I don't really have a lean on that at all. Just I lean on those props, those 2 props. Those are my leans for that. Next up, we have the next game here, Cleveland, Indiana. This game is Indiana. Open 5.5, Cleveland. Total 226.5. Now we're seeing 8.5 across the board, and 232 is the total. This game here, we're gonna go into more depth. we look at the head-to-head. They played the first time in Cleveland 2 days ago, January 12th in Cleveland. Pacers won 108-93. Indiana was a 9-point favorite. And, sorry, Cleveland was a 9-point favorite. Indiana covered, and it went under the total 239. So, now it's gone down under the 232. And Tyrese Halliburton is doubtful. He's not going to be playing in this game. So that's a big factor. If we look, Cleveland against other opposition, 9-1 in the last 10, 6-4 against the spread, 7-3 to the over. So Cleveland had their 9-game winning streak snapped against Indiana, and the Pacers 7-3 last 10, 7-3 against the spread, 5-4-1 to the over. Pacers are red hot. They've won 7 straight games. They're playing very well. But I lean to Cleveland. I got this number early at -7. I would recommend you to play it up to -8. If it goes to 8.5, I would stay off of that if you like Cleveland. If you like Indiana, obviously take the 8.5 if you like Indiana. But if you like Cleveland like myself, I would play it up to 8, -8. After that, I wouldn't play it anymore. So if you cannot get either one, my recommendation for you is to bet the game live. Get it live, see if you can get a good number live. That's my recommendation. Because right now we're seeing 8.5 pretty much across the board. There's 1 or 2 books that have the 8, but not a lot. So try and get it quickly if you can. If not, you gotta wait till when it goes live to get it. That's my advice to you. Next game we have Phoenix and Atlanta. Atlanta is open up -1. Total is 237. Right now we're seeing the lines go to 2.5 right now, and it's 236. So, sorry, not Cleveland. Phoenix and Atlanta. Excuse me. Phoenix and Atlanta. That's the next game we're looking at. So we're going to look at the last 10 games between these two teams. They did play about a week ago, January the 9th, in Phoenix. Phoenix was favored by 6 at that point in time. They won by 6. They covered the points. They covered the spread over 6, laying the points, 123-115, and it was a push at 238. So again, we're looking at this one here, as we mentioned earlier, 235 and a half, 235. And again, Phoenix 2.5 point favorites. For the total, I would lean to the under. This is basically an under series. I lean to the under. As for the side, no play on the side at all. I would lean for props. I would lean to Trae Young over 11.5 assists. He's been pretty efficient in 3 of his last 5 games, so that's a prop I would lean to here heavily. Trae Young, 11.5 assists for that game. Next game we're going to look at is New Orleans, the Pelicans in Chicago. Right now, Pelicans in Chicago, we are looking at -2.5 Chicago, total 232. Right now we're looking at the line is at 1.5, total 241. That's the New Orleans Pelicans and the Chicago Bulls in Chicago. We'll look at the let's see. Look at the last 10 meetings in this series. 5-5 last 10. 5-5 against the spread last 10. 8-2 to the over. They did play November 23rd of last year in New Orleans. The total at that time was 225. And it did go over 225. Pelicans were favored by 5, and they covered at home, 123-111. So this total now has gone down. It's gone up, excuse me, to 241 and a half and 1.5. This game is a complete pass. I don't have any leans or takes or opinions on the game itself, the over/under, the side, nor do I have any options on the props. No opinions on the props at all. So I can't give any takes on those. A lot of uncertainty and a lot of question marks in this game, from both a side and a total perspective and from a prop perspective. So this is a complete pass. All right, so the next game we're going to look at is Sacramento-Milwaukee. Milwaukee opened up as a 2-point favorite, total 232. Right now, the line is at, as we get here, 2.5, total being at 227.5. That's what we're looking at now. Sacramento at Milwaukee. So we're going to look at here the last 10 matchups in this series. Last 10, 9-1. The last 10 meetings, that's Milwaukee, 4-6 against the spread, 9-1 to the over last 10 games. And this is their first meeting of the season. Sacramento, last 10, 7-3. They have won 7 straight games. 7 games in a row, Sacramento. They're on fire. So 7-3 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. They've done very well. For Milwaukee, last 10 for them, 5-5 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 5-5 to the over/under. They're coming off a bad loss against the Knicks on the road. They barely beat Orlando. They've had the last 2 games have been a little bit rough against Orlando. They beat Orlando, but it was a tough game. Had to fight tooth and nail. It wasn't easy, and the Knicks blew them out. So they're off a bad loss, and they got to play Sacramento at home. I lean to Sacramento, just a lean. Might get to the window here, but I lean Sacramento. They definitely have the hot head and 7 straight wins, and I don't want to get in front of that. So the Kings are my definite play for this game. I mean my lean for this game. I lean that way for now. Might get there, like I said. Domantas Sabonis over 18.5 points is a good prop to take. He's gone past the 20-point mark in his last 4 outings, including 23 points in Boston. So when Malik Monk's not available, which he's not going to be available tonight, the door is wide open for Sabonis to eclipse 18.5 points. So I can see that here. It's a very good value. I like Sabonis here. Yes, I like Sabonis here a lot. So I definitely would take that for sure. That's the lean I would go after, or the recommendation for props. Might get there myself, not too sure, but it's something I'm considering for that game from a prop perspective. Next we have Denver at Dallas. The game opened at 5.5. Total 229.5. Right now we are looking at 234.5 as a total, and 3.5. This is what we're looking at right now. So we'll look at the history between these two teams. That's it. I believe they played a few times already. Denver, Dallas. Look at the last 10 meetings. 6-4. Denver has the edge. And they have played 3 times already. This is the 4th and final meeting. First time was November 10th in Denver. Denver was a 2-point favorite at home. It was 122-120. It was a push. Total at that time was 233. It went over. Second meeting in Denver, November 24th. Denver a 4.5-point favorite. Dallas covered in 1. in Denver, 123-120. The total at that time was 229, and it went over. Third meeting was in Dallas. Total, Denver was a 5.5-point favorite in Dallas. This is without Kyrie Irving, and Denver actually won that game, 112-101. And the total was 232 and went under. This game now is in Dallas again, but Kyrie will be back for this game. And like I said, the total now is 234.5. So the number has ticked up. So it tells me with Kyrie back in the lineup, the lean here is definitely the over. I like the lean as the over. 234.5. Yes, I like the lean here for the over. I like that a lot. As for the side, I don't have a play on the side, just a lean for the over. Regarding player props, let's see what we can get here. Nothing on the player prop side. I don't see anything here that's of interest on the player prop side for either team. I mean, you can look at Jokic over 1.5 3-pointers. That's always a good lean for him to hit that. He usually hits that from time to time. 2 of the last 5 games, but that's a good lean. Jokic player prop over 1.5 3-pointers. That's one lean for that. Dallas Klay Thompson, you can do over 2.5 3-pointers, over 3.5 3-pointers. That's another lean. Those are the leans for the props for either side. Don't know if I'm going to get there with those props. I would consider it, but that's something I would advise or recommendation for props if you're looking to play props for this game. Next game we're going to look at Brooklyn and Portland. Portland 7.5-point favorites, total 216.5. Right now we're looking at -5.5. And the total we're looking at is 218.5. This game is, again, one of my least favorite games, but I will give some leans and some prop, and maybe a prop if I can find something. So we'll look here at the last 10 games of this series, Brooklyn-Portland. 5-5, Brooklyn and Portland. Against the spread, 5-5. Over under 3-7 last 10 games. 3-7 to the under last 10 games. The last 10 games for Brooklyn against other opposition, 2-8, 4-6 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Brooklyn has lost a bunch of games. Let's see. Since winning in Milwaukee, they have lost. They are on a 5-game losing streak. Brooklyn on a 5-game losing streak. They did cover the last game against Utah. They were competitive in that game. Yeah, they lost 5 straight. Covered the last game. Portland, on the other hand, 4-6 last 10 games. 5-5 against the spread. 6-4 to the over. Portland themselves have lost 2 straight games. And yeah, this game there's a lot of uncertainty in this game. Just like the Pelicans Bulls game, this game's the exact same way. A lot of uncertainty. 2 bad teams, obviously. So I mean, I got no play on that with all the uncertainty on the spread, on the total, props. Too much uncertainty. I don't see anything here of value for me to put my money on for either team or for the point for the over under. So nothing there, nothing on the props either for that game. So now we're finished with the NBA, National Basketball Association. And now we are going to go to the National Hockey League. We're going to look at some of those games there. Big slate of games. Let's see. First game up, we have Philadelphia and Columbus. This game is at 6.5. Philadelphia favored. Head to head, they've played twice already. First game was in Columbus. Philly was favored. Total was 6.5. And it went over. First game, December 10th of last month, 5-3. Second game, almost a similar result, December 21st. The first game was in Columbus. Second game in Philadelphia. Similar result, 6.5. It went over the total. But this one ended 5-4 in overtime. So first two games of the series have gone over. Philadelphia's last 10 games, 4-5-1, last 10. 4-5-1 to the under Philadelphia. Columbus's last 10 games, 7-2-1, last 10. 8-2 against to the over. I would simply lean to the over in this game. That's my take. For that, Columbus has won 4 straight games. They were on a 4-game winning streak. And 2 of those wins have been on the road. So they have one on the road. Yeah, they have one on the road. Philadelphia. I'm sorry. For Philadelphia, we're going to see them. Philadelphia's won 2 straight. I would lean to Columbus. This game's in Columbus. I would lean to Columbus. I know Philadelphia, they've already won in Columbus already. They've won twice. They've beaten Columbus twice. I think I would lean to Columbus. They've won 4 straight games. I know Philadelphia has dominated this series. But I think Columbus gets the... I believe they can exact some revenge tonight in this game. I like Columbus. I would lean Columbus on the money line, and I would take the over 6.5 goals. That's my lean. That'll be my lean. I lean that way for that game. Next game, Dallas at Toronto. Total here 5.5 or 5.5 to over under. Dallas is favored in Toronto. Last 10 games, they did play this year. 8-2 Toronto dominated, 4-6 to the under. December 16th in Dallas, Toronto won 5-3, and it went over the 5.5 goals. Last 2 meetings have gone over. They played tonight again. Dallas last 10 games, 8-1-1 last 10, 1-6-3 to the under last 10 games. Toronto 6-4 last 10, 5-5 over unders even. Toronto's lost 2 in a row. They lost 2 games. They lost 1 game at home to Vancouver, and they lost on the road at Carolina. I would take Dallas here. I think Dallas is more of the superior team. I think they're going to flex their muscles tonight and exact revenge. I would lean Dallas. This is a revenge spot. I think Dallas settles the score, and I would lean Dallas on the money line. Dallas to lean over Toronto. That's my lean. I might even get to the window with that one. So let's keep that in mind. But I like the total. I'm not going to play. I would lean a rare money line play for me because I don't play the money line hockey too much. But this is a rare one. I like Dallas here. I like Dallas. It's just a lean for now. Like I said, I might get to the window with that. So tune in for the next video, and for my official plays and picks, and I'll let you know. But it's just a lean. Might get there. Next game, Tampa Bay and at Boston. Total 5.5. The total is 5.5. Tampa Bay favored in this matchup. Head-to-head last 10 games, 5-5. Over under 3-7 to the under. They did play about a week ago in Tampa Bay. This one stayed under. It was 6. The total was 6 was under 6, and Tampa Bay won 4-1. Now Tampa Bay's won the last 3 meetings against Boston. First meeting was in Tampa Bay. This one is now in Boston. So we look at the last 10 between these two teams against other opposition. 5-4-1 Tampa, last 10. 3-7 to the under. Boston, last 10, 3-6-1 last 10, 4-6 to the under. I have no opinion on this game at all, none whatsoever. I would just lean to the under 5.5. That's my lean, but it's not an official play. But really nothing really on this game. I don't have anything here. Next game we have Anaheim at Washington. Totals at 6 or 5.5, depending on where you shop. Washington is favored here. Last 10 meetings between these two teams. Head-to-head 6-4. Last 10 Washington, 5-5 over the over/under. Anaheim last 10, 5-4-1. Last 10, 3-6-1 to the under. Anaheim 1-2 on the road trip. They're on a 6-game road trip. Actually, sorry, they're on a 5-game road trip, and they're 1-2 on the road trip. And they got to go to. They're playing Washington. Washington has owned this series. Washington 5-2-1-2 last 10, 5-5 to the over/under. I actually have no play on this game. This game is a pass. I would lean to Washington in this game. I'll take the home team. Anaheim a little bit inconsistent. They're flip-flopping wins and losses. No consistency. So I would lean to Washington. I'm not sure if I would get to the window though, but I would lean to Washington as a play, as a money line play. Next game here, San Jose Detroit. Total 5.5. Detroit favored. Last 10 meetings. 6-4. Detroit 6-4 to the over. They played November 18th, early last year, in San Jose. It went over 5-4, and the total was 6 and went over 6 goals. San Jose's last 10 games against other opposition, 2-7-1 last 10 games, 2-8 to the under. San Jose has fallen off a little bit. They have lost 3 games in a row, and have gone under 3 games. So they're lacking a bit of offense. They are only averaging on the 3-game losing streak 2 goals. You're averaging about 2 goals on this 3-game losing streak. So the offense is not really popping. And they're at home. They're not really popping off at home. So Detroit here, 7-3 last 10, 7-2-1 to the over. Detroit's been playing very well. They have won. They've won. No, they're on a hot streak. They've won 7 in a row, 7 straight games in a row. And on the 7-game winning streak, this team has gone over. Let's see the over-under situation here with this team. Looks like it's 7 straight overs. I see. Sorry, not 7 straight overs. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 2, 1, 3, 1. They're 6-1 to the over. 7-game winning streak, 6-1 to the over. Detroit. So Detroit's red hot. My take on this game is Detroit team total over 3.5 goals. I would lean that way because San Jose, I don't know if they're able to pull their weight to contribute to putting up goals like they did back in November when they put up 5 goals. I don't think they'll. My opinion is I don't think they'll even come close to that this time around in this matchup tonight, because a lot has happened within the last 2 months for San Jose to even come close to getting 5 goals tonight. I see. So that's why if I don't see them coming close to even getting half of that, maybe 3 goals, then my take would be team. My recommendation, and I would advise you to take the team total over 3.5 goals. Detroit, and they're at home, so I would lean that way, over 3.5 goals. That's the way. That's the way I would go for that game. I would lean that way. Definitely lean that way. Over 3.5 goals. Yeah. That's my lean for that game. Over 3.5 goals. Yeah. I would definitely go that route. Because like I said, I don't trust them on the total here. For them to contribute to have it go over the total. I don't trust it. Don't trust that angle at all. Let's see if there's any more hockey. That's it for that matchup. Let's see. Okay, we have Seattle and Pittsburgh. This game is total 5.5, 6, depending on where you shop. Pittsburgh is favored in this matchup. Head-to-head, 4-2. Last 6 meetings. Seattle's controlling the series. 1-5 to the under. Seattle's last 10 meetings against other opposition, 3-6-1 to the last 10, 8-2 to the over. So Seattle's offense is looking pretty good. They've gone over 3 straight games. They've gone over the total on the road. So they're scoring on the road a lot, heavy scoring on the road. Pittsburgh, 3-4-1 last 10, 7-3 to the over. Yeah, this one I would definitely I would lean to the over. I like what Seattle's doing on the road. They're putting up goals, and Pittsburgh's putting up goals. So this correlates to so a lean to the over. Lean over 6.5 goals. For the sides, I have no opinion on the sides, just that I would lean that way. Next game, Florida at New Jersey. Totals 6. Over under 6, 5.5, depending on where you shop. And New Jersey's favored in this game. This one here, head-to-head, 6-4. 6-4 is Florida, 4-6 to the under. They have played twice already. They played 2 times in November. Both meetings were in Florida. And November 12th, 4-1, Jersey won in Florida. And it was under, so the total was 6, was under 6. The second meeting was in Florida, 2 days later. It was a back-to-back game. Total was the same 6. This one went over 6-2 Florida. 6-2 New Jersey. So they've won 2 games in Florida. Now they got to play a game in New Jersey. So it seems like this series, from what I'm looking at, each team has won on the opposition's home ice. So I would lean toward. Actually, let me look further into this. Last 10 for Florida. 4-5-1 last 10. 3-6-1 to the under. Florida's lost 2 straight games. Lost on the road. 1 at Utah, lost at Colorado. New Jersey 5-4-1 last 10, 2-8 to the under. I would lean to Florida. Florida's a lean, and lean Florida, and I would lean to the over 6 goals, but I lean to Florida. I lean there. Florida, you can take him on, let's see his favorite here. Yeah, Florida on the puck line. I think Florida on the puck line. Florida on the puck line. I wouldn't talk you off a money line, but I would lean Florida puck line or money line. I wouldn't talk you off either one, and I would lean to the over. Over 5.5 or 6, depending on where you shop. Try and get the best number, but that's what I would lean towards for that game. Next game, Ottawa at the New York Islanders. 5.5 is the total. Islanders are favored. Look at this matchup here. Ottawa and the Islanders. The last 10 head-to-head, 7-3. 2-6 and 2 to the under. They've already played twice, both meetings in Ottawa. The total was 6. First game, Islanders won 4-2 as a push. Second game, December 8th in Ottawa. Total was 6, 4-2. Islanders, it was a push 5 at 6. Let's look at the Ottawa in the last 10 games. 4-5-1 last 10. 1-7-2 to the under. Ottawa's won 2 games in a row. One in Pittsburgh, one at home against Dallas. As for the Islanders here, 5-5 last 10, 4-6 to the under. Islanders have won 3 games in a row, but now they came off a road trip. Now they're back at home against Ottawa. I would lean to the over 5.5 goals. As for the side, no play on the side. I just lean to the over. That's it. That's all I would take. Next game, Vegas at Nashville. This game, the total is 6. Vegas is favored. Head-to-head, 6-4. Last 10 games for Las Vegas, 5-4-1 to the over in this one. Vegas, last 10, 7-3 against other opposition, 2-8 to the under. So Vegas has gone under 4 straight games, 4 straight unders in a row for Vegas. Now they're on the road. 3 of the 4 unders were at home, 1 was on the road. So they got to go all the way to Nashville. Take their defense to Nashville. Nashville's last 10, 4-5-1. 5-5 over under. Nashville's lost 2 games in a row. They have flip-flop over unders. This game here, Nashville and Vegas, I would look at the under. Let's see, that's what it is. Under 6. I'll definitely take the under in this game. Under 6 for Nashville, Las Vegas. That's the lean. I lean that way. I believe Vegas is. I feel that Vegas's defense, they can carry that defense and their style of play on the road in Nashville, and it'll be low scoring. So I lean to the under. Is this a lean? Next game, Calgary at St. Louis. This one here, total is 6. St. Louis favored in this one. Look at the matchups here. Last 10, Calgary, St. Louis, 8-2. St. Louis, 7-3 to the over. They did play last month in Calgary. It was 4-3 in overtime. The total was 5.5. It did go over. Calgary's last 10, 6-3-1. 3-7 to the under. Calgary's won 3 in a row. 2 of the 3 wins were on the road. And they have gone under, like you said, 3-7 to the under. St. Louis, 5-4-1, last 10 games, 6-4 to the over. Let's see here. I'll lean to the over. Over 5.5. St. Louis and Calgary in the St. Louis. I lean to the over the total. No play on the side. Just lean to the over. Over 5.5. St. Louis, Calgary. Next game. Vancouver at Winnipeg. Total 5.5. Winnipeg favored. Last 10 meetings, 6-4. Winnipeg, 5-5. Over under. We look at Vancouver's last 10 games, 3-3-4. 5-5 over under. Let's see. Nothing there on Vancouver. Winnipeg. 6-2-2 last 10 games. 5-4-1 to the over. Yeah, I don't have a read on this game at all. No leans or to the total or the side. This one is just a complete pass. So no opinion on this game at all. This is a pass. Next game, Montreal at Utah. Total is 6, 5.5 wherever you shop. Utah favored. The last 10 games. They only played once. They played once so far. Their first meeting was last November. And it was in Montreal. It was under 6 goals. 3-2 Montreal. We'll look at Utah. We'll look at Montreal's last 10 games. 7-2-1. Last 10. 3-5-2 to the under. Montreal. They had won 3 in a row. They had won 3 straight games in a row. That streak ended in at home against Dallas. So the total. Let me see. Maybe about 2 unders in a row. So 1-3-1 to the under last 5 games for Montreal. Utah, last 10, 2-6-1-1. Utah, 3-7 to the under. Yeah, this game I would lean under 6 goals. This is definitely under 6 goals. Utah. Yeah, I would lean under 6 goals here. Lean under 6. Next game I would look at. Let's see. This is the last game actually. Rangers at Colorado. This one is 6.5. The total. Colorado favored. We look at the last 10 between these two teams. 5-5 even. 3-7 to the under. Rangers' last 10 games against other opposition. 4-5-1. Last 10. 5-5 over under. The Colorado side, last 10 games, 7-2-1, 4-6 to the under. So Colorado off a long road trip of 3 games. They came back. Nothing there. Let's see the Rangers. Rangers won 2 games in a row. This one is no play for me at all. This one's a pass. I have no play on this game at all. Sides, totals, props, nothing. Nothing on this game whatsoever. This one's a complete pass. So that does it for the NHL. Big slate of games. College basketball. Look at some leans here for college basketball. Let's get to that. Xavier at home versus Villanova. This game is. We'll look at the opening line for this one first. This is a 6:30 start. The opening line was 3. Total 148.5. Right now it's 145.5. Opening line is 2.5. It's 2.5 right now. It's gone out at 2.5. That's where we're at. So the matchup here, last 10 meetings between these two teams. 7-3 Villanova, 6-4 Villanova against the spread, 2-8 to the under. Villanova's last 10 games, 8-2 against the last 10, 7-3 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Villanova had won 3 straight games, but then lost at St. John's as a 6.5 point favorite. They lost. So now they got to go into Xavier. It's a second road game. So let's see. Xavier here, 4-6 against the spread, 6-4. So a 4-6 record that last 10, 6-4 against the spread, 4-5-1 to the under. Let's see. Just based on the current form of these teams. Just based on the current form of these teams. Let me look here. This is the current form of these teams right now, as we speak. Xavier at Villanova. I would lean to the under 145.5. Just based on the current form of these teams. Villanova playing to the over, 7-3 last 10. Xavier playing to the under slightly, but I just find in this game with Villanova, I know they went over at St. John's, but in this particular range, I like the under here. I believe Xavier's style of play at home is going to be a major factor for this game going under the total. Plus, based on the I would lean to the under based off of that factor. 145. I lean to the under. It's not a strong play. I wouldn't get to the window with that, but I would advise and lean to the under for this game. In terms of the side, I don't have anything here really for the side. That's all I have. I lean to the under. Let's see the other marquee games. Louisville, Syracuse. Louisville -8, total 153. You look at the over/under. Look at the head-to-head. 6-4 Syracuse last 10, 6-4 against the spread. Louisville 6-4 Louisville last 10 against the spread. 9-1 to the over in this game. And we're looking at it -8 for Louisville's favorite. This one's in Syracuse and Louisville. So we'll look at the opening number for this game as well at the same time. Let's pull up this number here. We can find it. Louisville opened up at -7, total 152.5. Right now we're looking at -8, some 8.5. Total is 153.5. See a bit of 154s. Let's see, let me look at this here carefully. Let me see here. Based on the history between these two teams, and based on how Louisville's playing to the, I know Louisville's playing to the under right now, 4-6. Let's see. Louisville had won 6 straight games in a row. They won 6 in a row. Louisville's playing pretty well. 6 straight games they've won. They won 3 of those games. Actually, yeah, 3 of those games they've won on the road. They won in FSU, one in Pitt, and one in Virginia. So that's Louisville. They've been playing well. Syracuse 4-6 last 10, 3-6-1 against the spread, 5-5 over under. Syracuse has won 2 straight games. I would lean here. I would lean to Syracuse. Syracuse. I know Louisville's been playing well, but Syracuse, they're holding their own at home. I would lean to Syracuse. I lean Syracuse, but I like the over more. These two teams have a history of going over the total. The number has gone up. The total has gone up to from 152 to 154. So I like the over 154. If you can get 153.5, I take the 153, but I lean to the 154. I like that more. I would lean to Syracuse at 8.5. I lean to Syracuse. That's my lean. If you like Louisville, played up to 8. After that, I wouldn't play it. If you like Syracuse, play Syracuse at 8.5. Next game we're looking at here, Marquee, Mississippi, Auburn. This game here, 7.5. We'll look at the opening number here first of all. Opened at -8, 152. Right now we're looking at 150.5, and it is 7.5. We're looking at. So not a lot of movement on this game. These two teams here. Let's see. Head-to-head 8-2. Auburn last 10, 5-5 against the spread. 6-4 to the over last 10 games. Mississippi State 8-2 last 10, 5-5 against the spread. 4-6 to the under against other opposition. Now they had. Auburn last 10, 9-1 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Auburn's playing pretty well. They have won 9 games in a row. They've been playing very well. And now they're at home against Mississippi State. They've owned Mississippi State. The spread here is 7.5. Let's look at this one. This one here. I would take Auburn in the first half. Auburn 4.5 in the first half. That's my lean. I lean that way. I think Auburn. That's a lean. Auburn got off to a fast start. They're at home, #1 team in the country. They get off to a quick start. I would lean Auburn first half 4.5. For the total, I would lean to the over in the first half, 71.5. That's my lean. Those are my 2 leans for that game. Not sure if I'll get to the window with either one. I'll let you know in my next video. But that's my lean there. Yeah. Next game, Alabama at home versus Mississippi. Alabama's -12, total 163.5. It did open up at, let's see, let's get the numbers here. It opened up 9.5 at Alabama, 164.5. And like I said, now it's -12. 163.5. So it's gone down a bit. Although it is back to 164. Let me look at this one here. I would still take the over. This one here, I would lean to the over. I would lean to the over. I lean over, and I'd lean to the. Yeah, I lean over for the full game. I lean that way. That's just a lean for now. These two teams, head to head, last 10 games. 9-1 Alabama. Last 10. Head to head, 1-9 against the spread. Alabama, 4-6 to the under. Mississippi State, 8-2 last 10, 7-3 to the against the spread, 2-8 to the under. Mississippi State won 3 straight games. They won 1 game as a dog in Arkansas. They've won there. And they've gone under 3 straight times. 2 times at home, 1 on the road. So they're playing some defense a little bit. Alabama, 9-1 last 10, 6-4 against the spread, 5-5 over under. Alabama's won 9 straight games. Over under is 5-5. I'd lean to the over still. I still lean to the over, 163.5. I know Mississippi State's been playing some good defense, and they've been holding their opponents in check during their winning streak. But I lean to the over in this game. I lean to over. Yeah, I'll definitely lean to the over in this game, 100%. And I would even look at a first half Alabama. That's another place. I look at Alabama first half, 6.5. I'd take Alabama too, first half. That's another play I would take. 6.5 Alabama first half as a lean. Don't know if I'll get there. I'll let you know if I get there or not. But that's my lean right now for that game. Next game, Kentucky at home against Texas A&M. This game opened up 6.5 Kentucky, total 160. Now we're looking at 7s across the board. 7, and the total is 157. That's what we're seeing here. Now we look at the head-to-head. We look at this one. Head-to-head, 7-3 last 10. Kentucky 6-4 against the spread, 8-2 to the over. A&M last 10, 9-1. Last 10, 7-2-1 against the spread, 5-5 to the over/under. Kentucky 7-3 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 5-5 over/under. I like A&M here. A&M is a very good play. I like them a lot. They have covered 3 straight road games. These guys are like the road warriors. They've covered 3 straight road games. They've covered at Texas Tech, covered at Purdue, and in 2 out of the 3 games that they've won, they were underdogs and they won outright. In Oklahoma, when they were a 2.5-point dog. 2-point dog at Purdue and won. At Purdue, that's a tough place to play. They won there. And then they won as a 1-point dog at Texas Tech, and they won there. So I believe they can cover the 7 points. I'd take them at 7. I like Texas A&M here at 7. They're a very battle-tested team. They've proven that they can hang with the big boys, and I think they can hang here again. This is a lean. More than likely, I will get there, but it's a lean at +7. If you get it at 6.5, take the 7. Take the 7. I take the 7. Get a 7. Take the 7. Texas A&M. I like them. I think they stay within this number. I really do. No opinion on the side, but I lean to A&M and the points. Take A&M on the points. Better off get it at 7. Better off get the number at 7. I've seen some 7s right now. Take A&M. Take A&M at 7. I lean that way. Like I said, there's a 90% chance I'll get there with A&M. I'll just let you know. Let's let you all know that. I'll let you know in my final picks. I'll let you know. I'm on them. I'm on them heavy in this one. That's it for the plays. I know we haven't gone over all the college basketball games. But like I said, in my pick segment for my picks and plays, my final pick segment for all my picks, I am going to give you my plays that I like a lot. I give you all my picks for college basketball, NBA, and hockey. I give you everything. Around 5:30 p.m., you'll get all my picks. 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:45 p.m. Eastern. I'll come back with the second video. It'll be all the picks. All right? So hang tight. Thank you for tuning in. Stay blessed. Stay true to yourself. Think about what we talked about today, this afternoon. Within the next hour and a half, think about all the things we talked about. Props, everything. And we'll be back here again in a couple hours. Stay blessed. Stay true to yourself. Believe in yourself. Peace. We'll see you later.